What's the difference between realism, impressionism, and abstract expressionism? It is not a question here of searching for an absolute of beauty. The artist is neither painting history nor his soul, and it is because of this that he should neither be judged as a moralist nor as a literary man. He should be judged simply as a painter. Though never a coherent group, realism is considered as the first modern movement in art, which reject traditional forms of art, literature, and social organization as outmoded in the wake of the Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution. Beginning in France in the 1840s, realism revolutionized painting, expanding conceptions of what constitute art. Working in a chaotic era marked by revolution and widespread social change, realism painters replaced the idealistic images and literary co- context of traditional art with real life events, giving the margins of society similar weight to grand history, paintings, and allegories. Their choice to bring everyday life into their canvases was an early manifestation of the avant-garde desire to merge art and life, and their rejection of pictorial techniques like perspective prefigured many 20th century definitions and redefinitions of modernism. Realism is broadly considered the beginning of modern art. Literally, this is due to its conviction that everyday life and modern world were suitable subjects for art. Philosophically, realism embraced the progressive aims of modernism, seeking new truths through the re-examination and overturning of traditional systems of values and beliefs. The pioneers on this topic were Gustave Courbet, Edward Manet, James Whistler. On the other hand, on Impressionism, we have we have Expressionism can be considered the first distinctly modern movement in painting. Developing in Paris in the 1860s, its influence spread throughout Europe and eventually the United States. Its originators were assessed who reject the official government's sanctioned exhibitions or salons and were consequently shunned by powerful academia art institutions. In turning away from the fine finish and detail to which most artists of their day aspired, Expressionists aimed to capture the momentary sensory effect of a scene, the impression objects made on the eye in a fleeting instant. To achieve this effect, many Impressionist artists moved from the studio to the streets and countryside, painting in plein air. Picking up on the ideas of Gustave Courbet, the Impressionists aimed to be painters of the real. They aimed to extend possible subjects of paintings, getting aware by the depictions or idealized forms of perfect symmetry, but rather concentrating the world as they saw it, imperfect in the myriad ways. The pioneers on this subject was Edward Manet, Claude Monet, Edgar Degas, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Camille Pissarro, and Alfred Sisley. Last, the abstract expressionism was an art by multiple modern artists, which was in the 1940s to the 1950s. Abstract expressionism was never an ideal label for movement, which developed in New York in the 1940s and 50s. It was somehow meant to encompass not only the work of painters who filled their canvases with fields of color and abstract forms, but also those who attacked their canvases with a vigorous gestural expressionism. Still, abstract expressionism has become the most accepted term for a group of artists who held much in common. All were committed to art as expressionism of the self, born out of profound emotion and universal themes. The most were shaped by the legacy of Surrealism, a movement that they translated into a new style fitted to the post-war mood of anxiety and trauma. In their success, these New York painters robbed Paris of its mantle as leader of modern art and then set the stage for America's dominance of the international art world.